Okay. All right. There's Steve Fung. Good morning. How are you,
Good morning.
Steve?
I'm fine, and you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Listen, I have to tell you, and I do apologize because my notes told me you were going to talk about something, and I researched all those things. Then you tell me you talked about them 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Okay.
Apologies.
Yeah, I'm going to get the note takers.
We're gonna actually take a bite out of something fresh this morning.
Okay.
A bite out of apple and see if we can chew on the viruses, get rid of them at least.
Yeah. Well, there's been a bit of what do you call it? A rupture in the camp of the Apple users. For years, they've been talking about we have this so secure, so stable platform, nothing happens. It's honestly been a case of lackadaisicalness on the part of Apple, and the fact that their user base was never large enough where those nefarious persons would take note. But now their market share has increased, and therefore they become a bigger target, and people are now targeting them with malware and viruses. Their operating system is no more secure than Windows, and it's about time they actually take a look at it security-wise. They've been under some heavy criticism from the security community about their lapse in security and what's not, so we should see they're taking a lot of flack in coming days over this malware incident that they're having.
What are some of the viruses that Apple users can look out for?
Well, to be quite honest, I don't think they're going to stick a name on it and toss it out there. But what they're usually Trojans, whereas it allows the person to have access to your computer and just basically steal information or whatever. So there's no real way to look out. I think you could probably look for the best antivirus you can possibly get available for the Mac and hope for the best.
We have so many smartphones. Today it's like walking around with your mini computer. Doug has his well on display.
No, I have it because he's been twisting my arm now for weeks, and I broke down and finally got the Galaxy S2.
So you come to show off on me this morning?
No. I mean, I just wanted to tell Steve that here
Congratulations.
But
Thank you.
in case we have a smartphone like, again, the Samsung and other smartphones, what are some of the effects that these viruses can have on our phones? Can we also find ourselves being subject to viruses through these smartphones?
Well, there are some malware available, usually just malware being malicious software. What they do, they probably try to get your phone to send text to pay services, or they would copy your information and send it to companies where they basically try to spam you with emails from marketing, etc. There's always the option of antivirus, which I heavily recommend for Android users. You can always download AVG or McAfee is on Android as well now. So you have options in terms of protecting your device, which is all available for free. So I think it's all on the user's part. There's no excuse for not protecting yourself.
Okay, let's talk about some industry trends. In the past week, Google introduced a new design to Google Plus. Why?
Well, it's an ever-growing competition, and you have Facebook, which is now adopting a lot of the features from Google Plus from its inception. So Google Plus has to stay fresh. One feature they have that Facebook doesn't is the Hangouts, which allows you to have like a video chat with up to like 16 friends at the same time, like a conference. You find a lot of the stars using it. The Dalai Lama has used it. Obama has used it. So it's a nice feature that they're trying to. The new design kind of emphasizes on that. And Google has been acquiring a lot of social media companies, so they're implementing a lot of the features from those additional social media apps and sites into their own offering. And I'm not sure if you guys saw the Google Glass.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a nice pair of, they're trying to push the envelope on the technology, so you have a pair of, I don't even know if you call them glasses, but it's like a headband.
It's a headband that you wear that you can actually you can
projects.
It actually you can read stuff on the inside of the lens of the glasses and so on. It's just an incredible technology.
It's taken me to a completely new level. I'm still trying to learn how to use an Android.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you talk about acquisitions. Talk about Facebook's billion-dollar acquisition of the mobile startup Instagram.
Yeah, which is my app of the day. They just bought my app of the day. That's not cool. Instagram is a very, very cool photo taking application. I use the word cool because it's really cool. It was a very big Apple app on the Apple App Store, which a lot of app developers tend to go towards. They just recently came on Android, and like a week after Facebook bought them up. Don't know if that's a sign for developers, especially on Android. But either way, here's the app. It is very good for taking photos. It's a sharing application. So when you take your photos, they allow you to apply these really, really nice filters. I've been taking pictures like crazy. I took one of the about there before I came on, so I know on my Facebook or on the blog will see it. But it allows you to share the pictures instantly with friends. You can share on Facebook, you can share on your blog, and they look really good. It takes some really bad pictures and make them look really good. Yeah, I don't know how it does.
Well, some people were suggesting that Instagram is motivating the tech world to shift its focus to mobile from computers. And I mean, that's the end of computers. Everything will be done in the hand, in the palm.
Well, yes and no, because surprisingly, the estimate for PC sales, they actually beat it. They was expected to fall below, but they actually beat the estimated amount of PCs that will sell. Because you know, tablets and smartphones have been beating PCs since last year, but they still are. But PCs are still fighting. And with Microsoft's Windows 8 and Apple's Mountain Lion, you find the computer operating systems are going more the way of mobile as well. So they're looking more and more like what you see in your tablet and more like what you see in your smartphone.
I got one for you. Star Wars technology is here. I was seeing somewhere where there is an X-ray machine the size of this phone.
Yeah. Those are basically, I think, Star Trek, the tricorders.
Star Trek.
Those, they're working with that technology. The concept is inside of the larger devices, but they're now working on shrinking it, which technology usually comes down and then goes back up. They usually can't decide if they want to shrink it or make it bigger. So we should see some interesting stuff coming out of that. That's actually a pretty complex concept there, where they're not actually using X-rays, but a different type of ray to actually do the whole.
To perform the same task as the X-ray.
Yeah.
Tell us, for all of those smartphone users who often find themselves having to recharge their batteries really often, how can we actually maximize the use of our batteries?
No, unless you're going to buy a Galaxy Note and get a comfortable 31 hours on your device, you're going to want to, there are a lot of different things you can do to conserve battery. The thing people tell you most often is to close your apps, and turn off your screen, which are all very true. Having your screen display on does drain a lot of battery, as well as there's certain applications. So specifically for BlackBerry users, the Facebook app drains a lot of battery. I can't tell much else for BlackBerry users, but for smartphone users, are actually, we're going forward. 4G is a definite killer of your battery, and if you can turn your 4G off, go for it. And people ask you, why would you turn your 4G off? But why would you keep it on if you're not using it? You're using 4G for like surfing, etc. So what I do personally, well, not on this one, but my previous phones that would have such a large battery, you switch your 4G off when you're not browsing the net or using it, and it will just use the Edge. And Edge is good enough for receiving messages, etc. When you really want to use the web, you flick on the 4G. But 4G basically cuts your talk time in half. So if your phone gave you a comfortable 1 day, you got through like 11, 12 hours on one charge, you're not going to find yourself with 4, 5, 6.
All right, Steve Fung, we're going to take a break for news, and we're going to come back with more on technology, the world of technology. We come back now to our world of technology. Before we went to the break, Steve Fung was talking about all the incredible things going on. And Steve, I wanted to raise with you some other issues. The Steve Jobs movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it shocked me a bit, the choice of actor. Ashton Kutcher is a bit of a joker. So it's fairly.
That doesn't mean that Steve Jobs was a joke, obviously.
No,
but he's an actor and he can play the role.
They said the choice was made based on some similarities and features when Steve Jobs was younger, and I think that he would best fit that role. People are hoping the name of the movie is not final, but. It should be interesting. It's actually scheduled to release this year, so it'll be interesting to see what they said. Not based on the book, they're based on actual people that knew Steve Jobs to get the story together.
But that story has been told so many times by so many different people. What will be different about this movie?
Well, they say that they're not going by written anything. They're going to speak with his friends, his co-workers, etc., and then based on that feedback, they're going to build the movie based on that, rather than literature or reading testimonials, etc.
He has been able, though, even in his death, to create quite a bit of interest and attention. Why is that?
He's a very, very stern gentleman in the way he even approaches the concept of your phone that you own. You know, they're telling you, well, you don't need this or you don't need that. And it seems to travel throughout or resonate with Apple people. When a person on an iPhone, you say, well, my phone has this and yours does not. They will tell you straight, well, I don't need that. They can't tell you why, but Steve Jobs said so.
You use the term stern. I was watching a documentary on his life, and they were talking about him actually firing an employee, several employees on the elevator. I think he worked on the second or fourth floor, and in that short time, you know, and he encountered employees that he thought weren't contributing. He just fired them.
Yeah, there's actually said that Tim Cook, the new CEO, is actually more liked by the employees than Steve Jobs. So yeah, he's a bit of a, I don't want to use the T word. He's considered to be a tyrant, but
Tyrant or terrorist?
could be all the above. But he's considered to be a tyrant by Apple employees. You'll see a lot of blogs from them saying that, you know, he's very, very, yeah. And some in his actual biography, they said that he's the type of guy that you would pitch an idea to him, he would tell you it's utter nonsense and then pitch it back to you as a brilliant idea. Yeah. So the biography is very interesting if you haven't read or heard it. The official is the book, and the audio book is very interesting, especially if you're a tech person or just curious about what goes on in a man like that head.
But they also said that he wasn't very tech savvy.
You see, he is a very unique individual.
Simple, actually.
Neither a designer or a programmer. He sat in the middle, though he had some knowledge of both worlds. He was able to guide both the design team and the programming team with a vision.
Yeah, he was an idea
more
person.
of a visionary than an actual hands-on guy.
Speaking of ideas, Steve, I want to take the technology that we boast about today and put it into a practical framework. I want to take the Android technology and show us how it can be used in various business sectors. We've got the hospitals who are looking to update their ways of recording data. We've got many other industries. The media, it speaks for itself, but we've got that. We've got the court system. We also have police. How can we use the new Android technology to actually advance these different sectors?
Well, I'll give you one very simple and one of my favorite basic examples. QR codes. There are two-dimensional barcodes that were developed in Japan about 1994. They're actually only now catching on. They can be used for tagging anything from livestock. You could take a simple stamp QR codes on your livestock. The farmer could scan each code and then basically bring up when this pig was born, how it's doing, etc., based on the data entered. Same can be used at the hospital. QR codes can be assigned to each individual patient. It can be a hospital card, and they can scan your card as soon as you go in and get your medical history. It can be applied to anything. That particular technology can be applied to anything.
Well, I heard one. I heard one on North American television a few weeks ago, where somebody broke into a house and stole this kid's game.
Yeah.
And the police were able to track it because they had one of these little gizmos in it that tells you where it is.
Yeah, and that is something that I've heard happen here. The one of the apps that I mentioned a while back is called Prayer. Prayer, it allows you to install on most phones, Blackberries, Nokias, Androids, iPhones, and it allows you to track your phone if it's stolen, allowing to give you precise locations to the police in real time, so they'll be able to retrieve your device hopefully in good condition.
Steve, you mentioned Nokia. Nokia is back.
Whoa, yeah, and they made a serious marketing push. They took over Times Square. They brought in Nicki Minaj at this huge concert. Some people were quite wondering what it had to do with the phone, but Nokia made a big splash. The Lumia 900 is their return into the high-end Android phone market. It's really a really beautiful phone. The screen is awesome. It has LTE, which is what people refer to as the true 4G. So it's very fast, very big, very beautiful phone. So they had this big concert as well as a time machine themselves in Times Square. They've been really going out on the budget. Now, on the flip side, they had a marketing campaign called the smartphone beta test, where they were just throwing a lot of stones at iPhone. But you know, when you live in a glass house. So it turned out that some of their early models, some of the early release models had a bit of a bug that didn't allow you to connect to data at all. So you had this big fancy smartphone, you can't get any service. So what they're doing now, they're giving the phone away for free. Not necessarily for free, but you're getting a rebate that covers the cost of the phone for a period of time. But aside from that minor problem with this fix with a software update is probably one of the best phones out there, if not, and it is the best Windows phone on the market. It sits with the top phones quite easily.
Wow, wow. Listen, Project Glass.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit before.
Yeah,
It's really, I don't think the emphasis on how crazy it is. What it does, it actually projects the images onto your retina. So there's no actual glass on it, it's just a headband.
There you go, we're looking at some of that.
And it allows you to get the heads-up interface from, say, your UI. So just walking naturally, you'll be able to see your email. You may see a friend. Facial recognition will say, hey, well, that's Doug, you know, and show your Facebook status. And it's so revolutionary. You could take calls. It has a camera on it. So I could be speaking to you, I could be seeing you, and you could be seeing what I'm seeing. So it's really out there. But the thing about it, it looks all future and next gen and something we'll see in 30 years. But one of the Google executives was caught wearing it at a function. And apparently they have a prototype and it's been distributed to the staff. Another Google staff member uploaded some pictures on his photo blog of his model, just showing us that they actually have it out there. They at least fabricated a few models. And so I mean, to think that that level of technology is that close, and it's also been said that it's going to cost as much as the average smartphone. So that sounds pretty good for something that is that high tech. I'm just hoping it doesn't burn a hole in my eyeball.
I don't know about you, Steve, but that will definitely spook me out. I don't want to be having my morning coffee and having someone pop up, hey, Kimberly, what's going on?
Yeah. That's it. Just take off the glasses. Listen, we got our first call of the morning. Good morning, Mario. What's on your mind?
Morning. I have a BlackBerry 8520, and it says reload software. What am I supposed to do?
I think you should reload your software.
Do what it says.
There are a few stores or repair stores that you could definitely check out that will be able to help you with that problem. If you don't want to take that step just yet, you should probably download the BlackBerry desktop software and hope for the best. Usually they'll give you the instructions to reinstall the operating system or just do a quick reboot of the device.
That's a very interesting question that Mario posed, because many of us, and I will admit I'm one of those persons, will buy a phone that is supposed to be techno-savvy and it has updates that you're supposed to get and just continue to use it as is. What happens when we don't actually update our phones systematically?
Well, the best update for BlackBerry is to buy a new phone. But if you don't get your updates... Why are you
so anti-BlackBerry?
He's giving me the hint.
It's not an anti-BlackBerry situation. I'm trying to save you. You see, the company is going down quite quickly. I always try to refrain from bringing up BlackBerry news because it's also negative. Now they're saying from all the new handsets they brought out, they've lost 4% average earnings on each handset. So they're just continuously taking losses. And a company taking that much losses just means that they're going to go under, and everyone stuck with a BlackBerry phone is just going to have a BlackBerry phone. I know people with BlackBerries, when they switch to Androids, they tell us, oh, you know, the Wi-Fi is so different. I could be on Wi-Fi on a BlackBerry, but watching a YouTube video is so strenuous. I can't connect to Wi-Fi to use my WhatsApp. So, I mean, if the company goes under, potentially the service goes under, what are you going to use the phone for? Right? You're not going to be able to do all the messaging that you get with the BlackBerry service, and the BBM is unique to the BlackBerry service. So it's not a case of distaste. It's a case that if the company does go under, which all of the analysts are saying is happening, it's probably best to leap off of the boat while you still can. That's what I would do.
I'm going to get back to you on that question. Good morning, June. We have a question.
Yes, good morning. I would like to know if it's everything you sign up for, if you have to sign your name and your email number and everything.
Okay.
And I would like to know if you have a fax machine at home. What is the number you have to put in if it's your phone number?
I'm not sure I understand what you're asking. I suggest that you call your local telephone provider and get those details. And I heard her talk something about a fax machine.
Basically, she's trying to ascertain what the number is for your fax if you've got a fax at home. But that could be a technical question that she'd probably have to.
I think the first part of the question was essentially asking for signing up for stuff if you should put your real details or your real email address, etc. I do it. It's usually best. It really suck if you want something and you have the wrong information in there, you can't get it. But also for most of these services are pretty secure, except for Facebook, who will sell your information. But it's usually best to put your real information out there. If you feel, that Big Brother is watching you or whatever, you could put whatever information you want in there. It doesn't really matter. But if it's a official paid service that you're going to pay for your credit card or something, you sign up for something like online courses or something, obviously you'll put your real information. If it's just an email address, you can put whatever you want in
But
there.
sometimes you need to be very cautious because you need to be careful who you're giving information to, because sometimes you're absolutely not sure and they can get a hold of some critical information and they can use it against you. Let's go back to the phone lines this morning and say good morning to Beverly. Rosalind, I beg your pardon. Hello, Rosalind, how are you?
Hi, good morning. I'm okay.
Wonderful. What's your question?
I have a blackberry farm. For the weekend, I was having an error 523 message. I tried to reset it and it's not resetting. What should I do?
She says she's having an error message on her BlackBerry, and she keeps trying to reset it, but it's not resetting. She wants to know what she can do.
Now, don't tell her throw it out the window, Steve.
Well, at that point, when you've done all you can't get anything done, you best to seek professional help. Both carriers, Lyman, Digicel, have a BlackBerry Center, and as well there are various stores that offer assistance for repairs. It's very hard to do an analysis and a diagnosis over the phone to ascertain a problem and give a solution.
All right, I think we have another caller. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
What's your question?
My Google Chrome or my internet, yeah? Each time that I am on Facebook or any site for that matter, it keeps on sticking and then saying kill the pages. It scans the computer several times and it continuously doing the same thing. What do you think it should do?
Well, usually problems like this, even generally, the questions so far have been mostly problems with a device or problems with software in this case. These problems are very hard to analyze over the phone. These are things that you'll probably sit down in front, you'll run a couple of diagnoses, you'll say, well, A, B, C, D, you'll try and error and you come with a solution. Your problem could be many different things. It could be memory on the PC, it could be the software being corrupted. The first thing I would recommend is you uninstall the browser and reinstall it. Please do not uninstall your operating system. Or you could try a different browser, Mozilla Firefox or Internet Explorer 9 or Opera, and see if you get the same problem, if the problem is continuous. If the problem reoccurs with the new browsers, then it's probably something wrong with the system. You probably need more memory. But just a simple reinstallation of Chrome, uninstall it completely and reinstall it, and you should be good to go.
All right, I think we have another caller. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, what's your question?
I have two questions.
Go ahead.
I have the new BlackBerry Bold 9790, which is the touchscreen. But my battery doesn't really last more than an hour, actually, throughout the day. So I usually have to be recharging my phone. So I just would like to know is there anything I can download to keep the battery from going out so fast?
Well, if your battery is only lasting an hour, I think you may have a faulty battery. If honestly, you should try to see if there's any swelling, and if there's any swelling in the battery, I recommend taking it out of the device as soon as possible. You should probably, once again, visit some sort of service center and have them take a look at the physical battery. 1 hour is really short for any device, even a BlackBerry, so I would definitely get that checked out.
What's the second part of the question?
A BlackBerry Playbook. So I was wondering do I link the two, my BlackBerry and my BlackBerry Playbook, together, pertaining to the PIN numbers and the BBM and stuff?
Well, there should be documentation for that within the playbook itself. There should be a help area, or else you could probably go online and get full detailed information for that. You can link have you updated your playbook to the newer software? As the first thing you should look at, there's a software update to the QNX 2.0. You get that update in, and that process should be a lot easier. But definitely check for your documentation online in regards to syncing the two devices.
Okay.
Steve, we were talking about all of these troubleshooting areas, resetting your phone, etc. Flashing. What does flashing do to your phone?
Well, based on the phone you have, flashing can mean so many different things, but essentially it's wiping your NAND or the hard drive on the phone itself and reinstalling the software. For questions like these, I probably would recommend people posting them on the blog. That way I can probably put a full detailed response. For something like syncing, that is a long response. I'm pretty sure I don't have that much on-air time to answer something like that. But definitely stevefung.net, submit the question on the blog, and I will be able to give you a full response. And that will be posted on the blog for everyone else to see. So anyone with a similar question will be able to benefit from the information.
Steve Fung, thank you for opening a whole new world of technology this morning and sharing with us. We'll see you again next week. Time now for our final traffic update of the morning.